Nasikia maumivu tumboni.
Salome's life is like this because of the poverty and terrible living conditions in her community. Her life won't improve unless long-term work is carried out to change things. That's what child sponsorship does. Sponsoring a child like Salome will help to provide her with the basics she needs and give her opportunities for a brighter future.
Ningependa kujifunza kusoma na kuandika.
There are many children like Salome in urgent need of help. Sponsor online at worldvision.com.au or call 13 32 40 now.
You say you want a revolution, well, you know, we want to change.
Introducing a new range of vehicles from Mitsubishi. The all-new tougher Triton. The new sexy and stylish Colt Cabriolet. And the exhilarating new Colt Ralliart. These are just three of the cars that are sparking a revolution at Mitsubishi.
Get the lowdown on international and local sport with Toyota World Sport at 7. Then on Lost Worlds, a series that looks at the Western world's most potent religion and its determination to maintain power at all costs. That's Secret Files of the Inquisition at 7:30.
Folks, and welcome to the show. On today's program, we take a look at all the action from the fourth round of the YMF Loans Australian Supersport Battle and the brilliance of Jamie Stouffer as he continues on his quest for the elusive Double Crown. Also from Queensland Raceway, we'll examine the action from the Flexi Rider Formula Extreme and the V2 Pro Twins. But first, it's D-Day for the Drifters, and the final round is what has been an epic season in the Toyo Drift Australia Series from Oran Park in New South Wales. Four rounds, 4 states, 4 different winners. Season 2006 has seen Australia's best drifters lock horns in the most fierce competition the sport has ever seen in this country. As was the case in 2005, each round has seen a new driver emerge with the trophy. Leighton Fine, Robbie Bolger and Bo Yates each tasted victory on their home turf, but it was the rookie Luke Fink from Victoria that upset the apple cart at the Apple Isle with a stunning win in his series debut. The consistent performances by some of the hardened veterans and the influx of talented new rookies exceeding all expectations throughout the year has laid the perfect platform for what is sure to be a breathtaking season finale. The Toyo Drift Australia Series returns to Oran Park in New South Wales for the 5th and final round of 2006. Today is Judgment Day. The Mad Irishman, the Showman and the Giant Killer have found themselves just one round win away from being crowned Australian Drift Champion.
Hello and welcome to Oran Park Raceway in New South Wales for the final round of the Toyo Drift Australia Series. We will be crowning a new champion today, but unfortunately one of the guys who's not in the run for it is Darren Appleton, last year's champion, who's had a bad run with mechanical woes.
We've had a shocker this year, Jace, honestly. Engines, gearboxes in qualifying, you know, and there's only 5 rounds, so it's really hard to come back from that.
Well, listen, speaking of that, on top of that, we've got the new guys, the young guns coming through. What are your thoughts on them?
There are a few young guns and they've been quite impressive, but look, us old guys, we know the ropes, we know how to do it, you know, they got nothing on us.
Well, there you go, he's laid down the challenge, going to go out with a bang. Let's get to the track and see the action.
Series leader Leighton Fine's championship hopes took a massive setback this morning when his beloved AE86 suffered engine failure.
Unfortunately, we had some engine dramas yesterday and we'd hoped we were going to pull through it, but unfortunately number 4's gone pop and the car's not going anywhere. Darren Appleton's been nice enough to lend me his One-Veer, his backup car, and so we're going to have a go in that. Not overly confident with it, but it's better than nothing.
Finding himself in second position coming into the last round, Robbie Bolger is looking to maintain momentum and come out on top.
Anything can happen from here on in. Like, obviously I don't suffer from pressure, but we can see Leighton's obviously had to change cars, which is good for us. Bo can even pass us in qualifying, which is probably bad for us, but as it's always, it'll come down to battle. The worst person can beat the best person here, so it makes no difference really. Just take every battle at a time.
With consistent form throughout the season, Bo Yates sits in third on the points ladder and in prime position for a late attack on the championship.
Pretty confident. I mean, it's anyone's game. It's probably only 130 points between first and third. Leighton's had a few car troubles this weekend, so it's a shame for him. But Team Pier's given him a car, so he's on our side for this weekend. So hopefully there's a good result for Team Pier.
When a wildcard position opened up in the Drift Australia Series this weekend, local Super Drift driver Scotty Gibbs was more than willing to make the step up.
It's a big learning experience. We've been playing around with the car a bit this weekend and trying to develop myself and the car and try and get the right formula to make a big attack for next year. So it's all shaping up fairly well.
To compete against the finest drifting machines in the country, Scotty's drift weapon of choice, believe it or not, is his mum's R33 Skyline.
Yeah, it's mum's shopping trolley. It's a whole lot of fun. It's the most stock car out of the field. It's probably about 90% stock. We've only done a little bit to suspension and got a little bit more power out of it, but you don't really need too much in modifications to get the car out there and get it sideways. You just got to drive it harder.
A red-hot qualifying session saw the drivers battle the elements in an attempt to impress the judges. Josh James's opportunity to drive the most awesome drift weapon in the world went up in smoke when the supercharged ute caught on fire.
I don't know, I was just coming down the straight for the first run of my practice for the day and coughed and spluttered a little bit, pulled over to the side of the road and revved it a few times and it cleared out a bit, and then went to take it out for a run and then flames were coming through the cab, so I jumped out.
When the action-packed session finished, it was South Aussie cool Kelly McKinnon who came out on top as the #1 qualifier.
Car feels really good out there. It's a lot of speed, and I put it right out and got big angle, plenty of smoke. Last year I was here, went up against the WRX, cracked at something right in front of me, dumped oil, I went straight off in the kitty litter. Bit of bad luck, but hopefully this year I can come out #1.
South Australian Kelly McKinnon had a bye run in the round of 32 after qualifying the Nankang Skyline in the #1 posse. McKinnon finished in third place in the 2005 Drift Australia Series and comes into the final round of the 2006 Series in fourth place on the championship points table. Another two top guns from South Australia lined up next. Mark Phillips in the Martini Racing Skyline and James Verhumis in the Toyo and D1 Garage sponsored Sylvia. Phillips took the first run in convincing form, and while the second run was close, it was the big Skyline that would progress through to the round of 16 with an overall score of 12-8. James Mardle in the Extreme Drift Clutch entry up against Kudar El Houli from Victoria in the borrowed black S13. An engine problem had taken Kudar's immaculate JDS Auto Imports S13 out of action, and he was struggling to come to grips with the new car. He wasn't afraid of having a go though, and a big lunge down the inside of the first turn resulted in a bit of contact in the first corner. Then there was another little bump on the second run as well, and overall it was Mardle that came out on top. One of New South Wales' toughest competitors up next. None other than Darren Muse in the S14 up against Alex Dickinson from Victoria, who was making his first appearance in the series this year. Alex was unable to match Muse in the first run, but outscored him for both line and angle in the second. Overall, it was a clear win to Muse though, 12-8. Another debutant in the next battle, Scott Gibbs from New South Wales in the Shoreflow exhaust entry, lining up alongside the defending Drift Australia Series champ, Darren Appleton from Queensland. Appleton blasted his way to a clear lead on the first run, but a gutsy performance in his near-standard road car showed that the rookie wasn't afraid to mix it with the best in the the game. WA's Adam Truella was on a high after finishing second in the previous round of the championship in Tasmania, and he came up against Andrew Paresis from New South Wales in the Drift RS15. Paresis had the home track advantage but spun in the first run, and a fuel pump problem meant Borneo was through to the top 16. Problems too for Jared Danaher, who lined up in the next battle against Corporal Christian Pickering from South Australia. The Gators auto-style entry was down on power after a last-minute engine change, and the Corporal showed he wasn't in the mood for mercy, taking a commanding victory in both runs. Robbie Bolger lined the big Kappa Monaro up in the next battle alongside fellow Queenslander Danny Keneally in the Hog's Breath Cafe Skyview Ute. Keneally's car looking a little worse for wear after a big crash in practice.
Mate, basically first lap out in practice, we had a caster rod snap in the last corner and doing about 140 k's down the hill and lost control.
A loose bonnet added insult to injury for Keneally in the first run, but a quick repair job saw him back in the game for the second run with a strong performance. It wasn't enough to balance the books though, and the big Irishman made it through to the next round. Bo Yates' championship campaign was made easier when he drew the burnt-out Kappa Ute in the top 32. The bye run giving him an easy pathway into the top 16. World BMX champ Luke Fink made a stunning debut in the Drift Australia Series, taking victory at the fourth round of the championship in Tasmania. The talented Victorian came up against Dan Mackey from New South Wales in the Bell Garage-sponsored Skyline. The first run went to Fink, the second to Mackey. Overall, though, it was Fink that had the upper hand with an 11-9 win. Series leader Leighton Fine was up next in the borrowed Peer Industries Onevia with fellow South Australian Jason Markowski in the Adept Electronics entry. The car that Leighton had borrowed was actually the car that Darren Appleton used to win the event here at Oran Park last year, but he'd need to come to grips with it quickly to keep his championship hopes alive. Very little to separate the pair in the first run, but a pass in the second run sealed the deal for Fine, who would go through to the top 16. The next battle saw South Australia's Tom Monkhouse in the rear-wheel drive Autosport Mitsubishi Evo take on lean, mean Eugene Aronson from Queensland. Eugene dominated the first run and impressed the judges even more in the second with a clean pass to bundle one of the crowd favourites out of the competition early. Local legend Fernando Whirl qualified in third position and took on South Aussie Steve De Palma in the round of 32. A mistake on the entry to turn one saw De Palma crunch the wall in his Nishrek 180. Fernando was having problems of his own though with a fuel surge. He was lucky to make it through to the top 16. Two New South Wales drivers up next. Nathan Weisel in the Skyline and James Mioch in the high-octane sponsored 180. An off-track excursion by Mioch in the opening run gave him a points deficit that would prove difficult to overcome. And it was Weisel that would progress to the next round with an 11-9 victory. Craig Vanderstel from South Australia has qualified the commercial truck sales Nissan in an impressive 6th place and took on Chris De Jager from Victoria in the GFB Skyline in the next battle. The strong winds and dust made it incredibly tough for the drivers, but it was the Speedway ace Vanderstel that made the most of it to win both runs convincingly. The final battle of the round of 32 saw Victoria's Michael Truscott taking on South Australia's Mark Marchison in the PP Gearbox S15. Marchison's car suffered some minor damage in practice and Truscott dominated in the first leg of the battle. Mark hit back in the second run, but it was too little too late as far as the judges were concerned, and it was Truscott that would take the last position into the top 16. Let's take a look at your Toyo top 16 now. McKinnon up against Phillips, Mardle and Muse, Appleton and Truella, Pickering and Bolger, Yates and Fink, Fine and Aronson, Whirl and Weisel, Vanderstel and Truscott. Not a dud match amongst them. So here's your Toyo top 16 right now. It's business end of the deal, and Mark Phillips, the Nissan Skyline R33, looks pretty relaxed. Jeff Bollis, of course, joins me in commentary with Kelly McKinnon. Man, it's windy down the line, Jeff.
Wade, it's cyclonic out there. Windy enough to blow a dog off a chain as Phillips and McKinnon get into it.
Yes, our JVC chase car giving us some great pictures. Both guys, excellent line and angle coming in. This is going to be a tough matchup.
This is going to be a very tough matchup. These guys, particularly two South Australians that are going to throw the kitchen sink at each other. Have a look at this. Oh my goodness, Phillips a little bit too big there.
Yeah, the Martini racing car almost off the circuit here. Both guys peeling in. Beautiful Beautiful angle and line. Plenty of style here as well. I don't envy the judges on this one.
No, this is going to be a difficult one to judge straight away. Let's have a look at these guys coming out of the first corner there, and look at that. Phillips just tries a little bit too hard, and that's going to cost him.
So the JVC chase car now for battle number 2 here. Both guys getting in nice and early though. Better line for Phillips, better angle I think too. McKinnon straightening up a bit there.
Straighten up from McKinnon, but also less angle as well. Let's see what he does coming into the second half of the course here. And he gets on the drift a lot later too. That's going to cost him as well.
Great stuff here from Oran Park considering the conditions. McKinnon doesn't look like he's really got it all on here.
And Phillips is in a bit of trouble. Oh, look at that. That looks like a very big whack, Wade.
I think he tagged him, and I'm not sure if that's going to be good for the points. McKinnon seemed to be straight a lot more than Phillips was throughout this battle, but he certainly straightened him up here. Boom!
Oh, look at that.
Right into the left rear quarter panel, and I think the judges are going to award in favour of Phillips. They do. It's a 12-8 victory for Mark Phillips. Well, the action's thick and fast down in the pits. They're trying to repair the damage. Here's Ben Chiliberti with Mark Phillips.
Mate, what a run with Kelly. Take us through it.
Oh, well, going pretty well. I've actually I've lost a bit of power, so I've got to use second gear, and I was a little bit slower through the back section, and he must have been trying to get some speed on me and just coming a little bit too quick and just smacked me real hard in the quarter.
Well, it's all happening down the pit area. Darren Muse, is he hiding from us, or is it really, really dusty and windy down there? That's probably what it's all about. Martel's got the window up. That won't affect him. I got to tell you, I love the look of the parasol entry. How good is that car?
Muse has that car looking absolutely fantastic, and I think his eyes were getting sandblasted there, and that was why he had the hand up.
Our JVC chase car giving the pictures of Battle 1. It's Muse v Martel already with the entry.
Massive faint drift entry there. You see how he swings across to one side and whoops, a daisy. Big straighten up there and he's in a lot of trouble. So's Martel, has a big spin. This is what you'd call an ugly battle, Wade.
Well, it's ugly conditions, and the guys doing their very best in what is, you called it earlier, cyclonic conditions. The federal entry here still managing to get its way around pretty nicely, though, right off the racetrack as well. Well, delivering the knockout blow, certainly in battle number 1. It's went all pear-shaped from here. Whoa, man.
Massive straighten there. This is Darren Mew's home track, so you'd have to think he knows his way around. James Martel is up from Adelaide and obviously probably not as familiar with the conditions.
Well, Martel has some major points to make back up now in battle number 2 of the Toyo Drift Australia Series. We're into the Toyo top 16, and Muse with the advantage. Martel's going to have to pull out something pretty special here.
And there's another straighten from Darren Muse. That's uncharacteristic, although it's to be expected on the outside of that first corner.
Wow, just look at these conditions. The dust is absolutely pouring down here at the moment. Windy, and it's causing the drivers some dramas, I would think. Muse, I think, will get this, but it's not a pretty drive.
It's certainly not. Muse makes his way through, Wade, but the problem there is that these guys are having the wind act on the car in a way they're not used to having, and it's just making life difficult.
One of the most charismatic men in the game, and the defending Toyo Drift Australia champion is without a doubt the Fro, Darren Appleton. But Truella comes to this with massive confidence at the moment after a runner-up spot in Tassie and running the defending champ of this particular event at Oran Park. He's got a load of confidence this weekend.
He's not going to be scared at all of Darren Appleton, that's for sure. He's a man in form at the moment, and form breeds confidence, Wade.
Not particularly good lines from either of these guys. That's a lot better than good angle from the Fro and the pier entry. And now you see working hard as well as Truella. Oh, Fro had to get sort of interrupt the drift a bit just then. I think he'll still get there, but it wasn't pretty from either of them.
No, certainly not pretty. Let's have a look a bit closely here. Darren Appleton and Adam Truella have both attacked this track in a similar way. Appleton's done it with superior speed and probably has the advantage going through into the first, from the first round into the second round.
Let's have a look at the second battle right now. This will be crucial, I would think. The JVC chase car hot in pursuit. Now Fro's got to do all the chasing. Truella looks a lot better this time in. His line and his angle. Oh, straightened up a little bit just there. Appleton's going to get him.
Yeah, Appleton's picked him up, but not only has he picked him up, big straighten from Adam Truella, and that's going to cost him. Darren Appleton now is going to try and sit behind and emulate as best as he can there. and demonstrate to the judges that he has a superior car and the superior control. But Truella hasn't done too bad over the second half of the course.
You've got to get extra points for the neons, for the strobes inside the headlights.
I'm sure that's worth extra. That's good.
Style. Truella looked great. You just see the peer car of Appleton. He thought about the outside pass. He'll get the win. No surprise there. A 12-8 knockout blow for Appleton over Truella as we advance further forward in the Toyo Top 16. And hello there. The madman is in the house. Robbie Bolger in the Monaro up against Corporal Christian Pickering.
Now, Robbie Bolger is a man on a mission today. He's one of 3 drivers who can easily take the championship, and it's there for the taking. The question is, can Bolger get both hands on that trophy?
Is it going to be the pressure that gets to the man Irishman? He's an awesome competitor, right up behind Corporal Christian. At the moment, you think Christian looking pretty good. Look at the horsepower of the Monaro. Oh, Pickering all over the circuit and gone. So Bolger will be licking his lips now.
Bolger with a very big advantage going through to the second battle. That's what intimidation does. Robbie was all over the back of him. He was making life really difficult for the Corporal there, and the Corporal looks like he folded this time.
Just look at him just then, missed it altogether, and Bolger was right there on his hammer, so good start from the Irishman. And you can see a bit of concentration. He does concentrate.
He may be in a concentration mode right at the moment. It just doesn't happen very often, Wade, I think.
Maybe we're just not aware of it. Oh, not the best entry by any means for Bolger. Maybe this is a chance for Corporal Christian to do something about it. We're on board with Robbie now and the Holden Monaro, working the wheel pretty easily. He looks pretty relaxed today.
He might not be so relaxed in a minute because he's got a battle to complete here. Look at this. He's flying. He's really giving it to Corporal Christian on terms of speed. Christian is in a lot of trouble here. He salutes the judges, but still in a lot of trouble. Look at the speed. Robbie Bolger there with the superior horsepower and the superior grip from the tyres pulling away.
I think Robbie's going to deliver some corporal punishment to Pickering, and he does. A 13-7 victory. Let's go to the Mad Irishman in the pits right now.
Mate, the Monaro is awesome. This is the first time for every year, 2 runs, new set of tyres. We're not taking any chances, mate. We're just, every 2 runs, brand new tyres going on.
Well, Robbie has a game plan and he's sticking to it. Meanwhile, here is the Bo Show. Bo Yates up against Luke Fink, World BMX champion. How good is this guy? Wins on debut. Can he back it up here today at the park?
Well, today he's up against Bo Yates. Bo Yates is one of the other guys who's a big chance of taking this championship. And to get through, he has to beat last round's winner. So it's a pretty tall order straight up.
Oh, Yates goes high and Fink has him on the bottom, but he's blown it. Luke Fink, he had the inside line big time there. And the Bo Show, look at him now. He's going to punish him for that one.
That's for sure, but we need to go back and have a look at that. Bo Yates actually left the door open. Really bad angle, really wide.
Oh, sure.
Mistake from Yates. Fink has gone to capitalise on it, and Fink couldn't do it.
And now look at the issues we've got here. So Fink, desperate now. It's going to have to come up with something pretty special. And Yates doesn't make many mistakes. Here we go. On board now as we storm down into turn 1 here at Oran Park. The Toyo Drift Australia Series. As he gets ready, nice entry for Bo Show. Likewise, Fink.
Look at this. He's just parked himself at the back and said, I'm going to emulate you all day, mate. That's the whole idea from there. Although where he would normally place himself was a little bit too far away. Luke Fink has some pretty good horsepower there. He might have caught Bo by surprise.
We'll have to wait and see what the judges think. Well, Fink was a long time very straight just then. And I think the show might get him. We'll have a look at the replay situation. We're on board with Bo Yates now. Fink, a little wide there, left the door wide open.
He left it open, but then Bo really didn't capitalise on it like he normally would. That's a good win through to Yates there. Some would say he was a bit lucky.
It pretty much came down to keep the foot in it and smash into the side of him there, or back off. I guess I shouldn't have backed off, you know. Oh well, what do you do? At the end of the day, it doesn't matter.
I made a slight mistake at the end of the straight there and he come right up beside me, but then turned around beside me, so yeah, it was quite easy towards the end.
Our next matchup brings a former world rowing champion, Eugene Aronson, up against Leighton Fine in unfamiliar equipment, Jeff.
Leighton Fine's regular ride, the Toyota Sprinter, developed some problems, and luckily the third peer car was already entered, so some quick paperwork changes have enabled Leighton to step on board last year's car that was piloted by Darren Afro Appleton, and it's going to be a good result for him. He needs it.
Not the particularly good angle getting in. I thought Eugene Aronson had him pretty well covered then. In fact, he's a bit ragged coming off the corner. I don't think we can underestimate how much the wind is playing havoc with these cars.
No, you certainly can't. Now, Leighton Fine is currently leading the championship, and he needs to win from here. He needs to keep going through. If he doesn't, that's the championship well and truly gone. Doing a good job so far, though.
Yeah, looks a lot better in the second half of the battle, that's for sure. Here he was a little average. Just then Aronson was all over him. But battle 2, this is going to be the knockout blow. Will it be Leighton Fine or Aronson? The JVC chase car giving us our pictures. This will be a good battle for sure. Aronson looking good. Look down low though. Here comes Leighton.
Leighton Fine really needs to win this. If Leighton Fine can't do a bit better job than he's doing right now, that's the championship done and dusted.
Leighton Fine fighting for survival. He might have just straightened up a touch there. This could be all over. What a drive from Aronson. Let's look at it in replay here right now. Is this the bit right now that cost Leighton?
And that's the straighten that has cost Leighton Fine the championship for 2006. Let's go down and see what Eugene Aronson has to say about it.
Oh, it was a great run, really excited. Unfortunately, Leighton couldn't have his car, so I was S13 versus S13. It was just amazing. I just loved it. First run out, I just couldn't get it to do third. It's been doing it all day for me, and it just didn't want to go. And unfortunately, we just straightened, and Eugene did really well, and both his runs were quite good.
Yes, he's a happy boy. So now Nathan Weissel up against Fernando Whirl, and this will be a battle. They look pretty comfortable and pretty relaxed. Windows up. Windy conditions here at Oran Park, that's for sure. Away we go. Battle number 1 here at Oran Park.
Wade, both of these guys are Oran Park regulars. They know the circuit. The question is, can they battle each other? And that's a spin, a loss of control, straighten up, off the track. Very untidy there from Nathan Weissel.
And Fernando looking really strong now. The Sabre entry looking to capitalise in battle 1 of this Toyo Top 16, the Drift Australia Series. Fernando really cooking it now. The JVC chase car right in behind Weissel. Let's have a look at the replay right now. This is where Nathan got into some serious trouble. So the wind is phenomenal in that part of the circuit. Here's your JVC chase car angle. Plenty of smoke, good line and angle from both guys. But look at Fernando, already set up for the next corner. Battle number 2, Weissel has to pull something miraculous out of the hat here.
Weissel's looking for a miracle, but Fernando's just looking to keep it nice and tidy. If he can just stay on Weissel's back bumper there, emulate, do everything nice and tidy, he's going to score some good points with the judges. Look at this, looks down the inside, and it's almost a pass under drift. No, Nathan takes him back. It's all happening.
Well, Fernando, he's not exactly playing the percentages game. He wanted to go for the kill straight away in battle number 2. Weissel has done a good job to recover, but Fernando certainly shown a bit of superiority in the second battle there. He was all over Weissel.
What a battle. He did more than just have a bit of a look. He really got clear of him. It was just he wasn't positioned on the track properly, and Weissel was able to take the inside line coming into the next corner. Both guys managed to get a good bit of drift on through the corner there, so no worries there. But Fernando's going to take a narrow win in both of those battles all the way through, and he's going to take it through to the next round.
And Van der Stel, now here is a man from sprint car circles driving a world-class piece of drifting equipment up against Truscott. As always, a tough man to beat. So Van der Stel, this young South Aussie, certainly going to have his hands full.
Well, you'd have to say driving sprint cars, he spends a lot of his time sideways as it is. Drifting shouldn't be a big jump for him.
In that direction, yes. In the right-hand direction, it's a bit more of an issue. Both guys, excellent angle, plenty of style. Oh, Van der Stel almost gone. In fact, he does.
Oh, unlucky for the guy. He was showing some excellent angle, was doing some really good work there. A little bit too much pressure from Truscott, though. Van der Stel there just tried a little bit too hard, and unfortunately, he's paid the price there.
What a weapon car that thing is. It is just phenomenal. Van der Stel would normally be waiting for a push car right now, but not required in drifting, that's for sure. The Toyo Drift Australia Series, and now Van der Stel's going to be a busy boy. Truscott's going to lead the pace as we go into turn 1. Let's take your JVC chase car angle. Van der Stel looks good.
Van der Stel is really fighting back here. He's dialed himself into the track. That car is a really good looking piece of machinery, but the Phillips entry at the moment